Hello, 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 everyone. I will tell you about this little thing I have on my lip in 1.1 second. I want to welcome everybody being here. Happy Tuesday, Untangled, episode 92. Episode 92. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Untangled if this is your first time here. What we do here in Untangled is we talk about all the ways in which we are navigating our evolutionary shift in human consciousness, our evolution, the way in which we are shifting as a human collective, what it feels like, what it looks like, what we're experiencing, why we're going through it, the power of being in it together, talking about it, dissecting it, making the very uncomfortable, the stuff people don't like to talk about, making it very, very normal. Normalizing the stuff we don't like to look at. And so here we are, another episode. Really happy to be here with you guys. A couple of things before we get going. Number one, I have a live 6-week course that is starting this Thursday, June 27th. It's my first course that I have taught in 2 years. So I'm very excited about teaching this class. It's 6 weeks, 6 live classes, 2 live bonus classes, lifetime access to the replays, a private community where you can connect with people all over the world that are in the class with you. And it's all about me sharing very specific but simple tools that I have gathered over the years, the last 7 years, of navigating these really crazy, intense, miraculous, energetic shifts that all of us are going through and that you can't bypass out of. You can't intellectualize. These are ways of being that are in you, that are in me. There are natural knowingnesses that we forget, and they're always very, very simple. How to align with purpose, how to be in flow more and more, how to listen to that guidance system within you, intuition, how to energetically understand through the experience the difference between, or the movement between 3D and 5D, and not logically, not from a mindset, but from the energy experience of it, and the tools, how to be in it, how to experience it, how to go through it, and it's always very, very simple. We complicate the shit out of it. Anyways, the link is down in the description in this video, and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to dive into that, teach that. Also, we are going to be opening registration for my Africa retreat, Kenya retreat. That's going to be February 11th. We're opening that up to the waitlist. If you're not on the waitlist, we're opening it up July 8th and then July 16th or something. July 8th for Patreon members, July 16th, I think, for everybody else. But get on the waitlist. The waitlist is in the description down below. And that's it for my updates. Also, if you want to join our Patreon community, we're doing an energy update on Thursday, the 27th. All right, let's get going. So today, hello, everyone. Today, I wanted to just give you a couple of stories that have happened to me, including this bite on my lip, and then open it up to some questions and see where you guys are at and what's going on in your world. So first, I met Greg Louganis this weekend, which I was so fangirling over. I grew up in LA. I've met a lot of famous people. I don't care about famous people. Does nothing to me. I could meet the most influential famous person and it just doesn't do anything on any level of fame. But anyway, when I met Greg Louganis this weekend, though, I was like, oh my God, that's Greg Louganis. Like, that's Greg Louganis. It's like meeting Mary Lou Retton, you know? Um, and if you're under the age of like 30, you're not going to know who Greg Louganis is, or you're not going to appreciate Greg Louganis. But I was like, Greg Louganis. It's like your childhood memories of Greg Louganis on the diving board hitting his head, like, and then how incredibly talented he was and the medals he won and the like, just his awesomeness. Anywho, so I met Greg Louganis at my friend Kyle's event this weekend, and we sat next to each other at one of the moments during the event. And he has this dog with him, and I sat down and I tried to give the dog a kiss, and it bit my lip. But you know what? If I have a scar from Greg Louganis's dog, I'm okay. Also, if you're not from the United States, you might not know because he went to the Olympics. So yeah, you would know. Um, you would know who he is. He's a diver, a professional or a Olympic diver, but like one of the best divers in the world. Like I think he still holds records that's from the 80s that nobody has been able to um, um, win or whatever they call it. Do you win him? No. What do you do when you win? You win it? You win? No. I don't know. You break the record. Nobody's broken the record. Um, okay, good. This isn't going to leave a scar. That's what you say, Shannon. Sharon. Watch, it leaves a scar. Um, if you don't know Greg Louganis, go do some Google searches of him. He's incredible. Yeah, I know. Imagine meeting him. I was like, okay, so that's my first story. My second story is um, I wanted to share what came through this morning when I was laying in bed. Uh, so when I woke up this morning, there was this message that was coming through. And let me know if you've been feeling this as well. Um, yeah, his little doggy bit my face. I didn't really put the freaking dog's face in my I didn't really put my face in the dog's face, but I was petting the dog and he just snapped and went towards my face. I did not really put my face in the dog's face. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I woke up this morning. Here's the energy I was feeling. I want to share it with you guys. Let me know if you're feeling it. So the more and more that this planet awakens, which i.e. means more energy um, comes down onto the planet and increases the vibration and frequency of the planet, and your own physical body and everything that's out there on the planet is increasing in frequency that's physical and alive. The more we're going to experience polarity. Polarity is how this planet is experienced. It's polarized, which means it's like a seesaw. Okay, so there's always an opposite to whatever experience is being had, meaning there's always a flip side. So if you have love, you're going to have fear. If you have happiness, you're going to have sadness. If you have joy, you're going to have pain. Not you're going to experience it, but there's the possibility of it. That's what's so magnificent and also just jaw-dropping about the experience of Earth is that it's a polarized planet. So you get to experience duality. You get to experience opposites. That is here, whether you like it or not, whether you want to experience it or not, whether you enjoy it or not. It's not up to you whether you experience polarity. It is an absolute, for sure experience you will have. And we were never taught this. We were never taught the purity of the experience of being on Earth. We were taught the illusion of it based on the egoic structure that was created in order to make sure that we felt safe on this planet based on all the trauma that we've experienced in the past and our parents experienced in the past and their parents experienced in the past, on top of the fact that we have had a very small percentage of the human population that has been controlling the human collective for thousands of years that are not actually humans. And so all of this is happening on a planet that was created to experience, well, it was created actually not to experience polarity. It was created in a fifth dimensional state of awareness, but it fell down into the third dimension, and third dimension is all about polarity. It's a polarized planet. We are moving back up to the fifth dimensional state of awareness. If you haven't gotten my book, go get it, The Divine Design. It talks all about the history of our planet. Get it on audiobook. It's an incredible book. It will change your life. It will change the way you view you and the world, and it brings so much clarity, so much peace and calm. The Divine Design. Anyway, polarity is a natural experience, but because we live in the illusion, we have amnesia. We have forgotten as souls that incarnated how this planet works. We only want to experience what we have either been taught is a good thing, the right thing, the thing we should experience, how we should be on this planet, um, what's a positive thing, what means that I'm healed, what means I'm good, what means I'm successful, right? And so the world, this planet, this experience is framed with duality and polarity, which gets to be honored. You know, there is good and bad, there is right and wrong, feel good, doesn't feel good. Um, insecurity, security, right? I feel insecure, I feel completely confident. I feel lack, I feel abundance. The key to what's happening right now on the planet for a lot of us, including the collective, is that this polarity is going to get more intense. So we're going to start to see more and more of the absolute divide or division between one experience and another, right? Thank you, Kathy Ball. Appreciate that. We're going to start to see separation even more. And we're going to start to see the drastic difference between what it feels like to feel secure and what it feels like to feel insecure, perhaps. What it feels like to feel lack and what it feels like to feel abundance. What it feels like to feel loved and what it feels like to feel fear. It's going to intensify. And the reason it's going to intensify this, it's getting more and more clear. It's like, oh, we are on a seesaw. The seesaw is polarity. It is duality. It's part of the human experience. People believe we have this idea that the more and more that we can heal ourselves on this seesaw, that the seesaw is going to go away. For instance, if I heal this trauma from the past, then I'm not going to experience discomfort of some sort, meaning insecurity or unworthiness or whatever it may be, right? And that may happen. There may be that insecurity or unworthiness or lack may start to even out, right? But you're going to feel some other sort of polarity. Okay, so then there's going to be another experience you're going to have that you're going to feel as if you need to heal or balance out. And it just keeps going because that's the planet we're on, a polarized planet. And the way that we evolve is not by continuing to heal everything. That's the trap. That's the loop we get into. The way that we navigate this evolutionary shift is that we start to realize that polarity is here. The polarity, the more that we can honor and appreciate and respect and see this through the lens of polarity, like that this is just the polarization of a human experience, right? I'm trying to do this. It's so weird trying to do this like that. The more we can see that polarization, the more we allow or let it be okay. And we choose from these moments of awareness how we want to be on the planet. Okay, so what we want to believe in or how we want to respond in the world, right? It's our choice in how we're responding in the world. Thank you for that super chat, Stacy. But The polarity is allowed to be here because the polarity is the natural beingness on this planet. And because when the planet starts to shift into these higher frequencies and humanity starts to shift into the higher frequencies, polarity begins to dissolve. But we are not in charge of dissolving polarity. And that what that means is that you cannot get rid of polarity. You can't say, "Oh, if I only think about a specific timeline, a positive timeline, a beautiful timeline," right? Um, a timeline where everything is beautiful, everything is peaceful, or I'm gonna jump timelines and go to where everything is abundant. If you that's like a bypassing, and I'll tell you why that's a bypassing, because it's negating the fact that you may still be standing in a polarized world. So you're going to fight really hard. You're gonna fight tooth and nail to make sure that you stay focused only on abundance, or you stay focused only on. So what happens when you're on the seesaw, okay? And you're like, "No, there's only positive, there's only love, there's only abundance, there's only this," and you're still on a seesaw. And so the seesaw is still heavy with lack. But you're fighting so hard against the recognition that this just gets to be here, right? That's the kind of bypass that we see happening. Oh my god, I'm supposed to be in this higher frequency. I'm not supposed to feel dot dot dot. All every if I'm looking listening to all these all this information and all this knowledge, I'm supposed to be here, right? And yet you're having all of these experiences down here. And then there's some sort of there's a resistance to this polarity. There's a resistance to what you don't like. There's a resistance to what you think you're not supposed to feel, and yet it's still here. You're still on the seesaw, right? Polarity dissolves when the human collective stops trying to fight and get out of what they're in. There is a natural evolutions that's happening right now that allows for polarity so that the polarization can move into a balanced state where there's neutrality. And what the trap that a lot of humans that are on the awakened path are getting into is that there is a right way to do this, and that these things down here are bad, negative, um, low vibe. And this polarization is gonna get louder and louder for a lot of us, and if I'm sharing this because if you keep trying to fight against this, that's resistance, okay? No matter how intelligent you are and how high vibe you are and how much you meditate, if there is a resistance to what is, you're resisting the natural process of evolution. Evolution, your natural way of evolving is not resistance. Now, there's a natural process of resisting, okay? We're going to naturally, like the knee-jerk reaction into evolution is resistance. And many people are framing resistance as good because you're moving yourself you're staying focused on only what you want and only what feels good and only what is the right thing to do and only what people are telling you you should be feeling or you should be thinking, and that's efforting and resisting what's here. And that's not how evolution works. So then again, the knee-jerk reaction will be this resistance, and simultaneously, the natural process of evolution is to allow for everything to be here. And the more that you can allow for things to be here, the more the seesaw, you relax into what is, no matter what. And the seesaw starts to balance. And as the seesaw, as polarity is balanced or neutralized by the human collective. Now, it's not that you want to stand in war, okay, and say war is good. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you are standing in what is. You're in the wars that are happening. You're standing in it. You're watching it. You're paying attention to it. You're acknowledging it. You're feeling it. Maybe you're doing something to help the people in those countries. Maybe you're doing something to help the people in your community, right? But you're not trying to kind of positive think or jump into some timeline that negates what's actually happening here. The horrific things that are happening on the planet have to be here. They get to be here, right? And we have to stand in it and not try to bypass ourselves, positive think ourselves out of it. And then what happens is there's a neutrality that happens where it all gets to be here because it's here. And when we start allowing for that, there's a relaxation into what is, even though it feels so uncomfortable. That's the most courageous thing you can do, is to start letting go of being in whatever it is that you are in and no longer making it right or wrong, which is going to be very difficult for the majority of us that are on the healing journey. But when you can start doing that, that's the natural process of evolution. That's the fastest way for us to move through this. And then when the neutralization moment happens, it dissolves this dissonance. It dissolves the difference, the separation. But we can't logically do it with our minds, okay? Because what's going to happen is that something's going to feel good and something's going to feel bad. Something's going to feel right, something's going to feel wrong, and we're going to want to control that. That makes sense. That's our natural response to the human experience. And so the more and more we can recognize that how we've been doing this in the past is not going to work any longer, it's going to require a huge amount of courage and you're going to start recognizing, holy shit, this is a totally new level of being on the planet that literally requires the ego to quiet, which is the part of us that controls everything. Anytime you're trying to jump a timeline, anytime you're trying to get rid of something, anytime you're making something wrong, anytime, and this all is natural. These things that I'm just repeating right now, it's a natural way of being on the planet. You're going to want to change and fix and heal and make things wrong, and get frustrated and get irritated and want to heal all that gets to be there. And then simultaneously, what you're going to notice that's going to start happening, I encourage you to start noticing this more and more, if you haven't already, is what happens if before I start to change something, what happens before I start to really believe that it shouldn't be here, that it's not okay, that it's not right, that it's not good, that I need to change this, I need to get out of this. Before you do that, which again is the knee-jerk reaction, it's what we naturally do, it makes perfect sense, it gets to be here. Before you do that, can you think about the fact that you're on a seesaw? That you're on a planet that is absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, you cannot argue this, polarized. That you can't get yourself, you can't, into any sort of like spiritual hierarchy of evolution, of high vibe, 5D, or any of that. If you're trying to get yourself there, that's the ego. The soul will never do that. And this is one of the hardest things for people in the awakened community, in the um, spiritual spaces to allow, because they want to go somewhere, they want to be somewhere, they want to figure it out. There's a destination, but if you've been in the spiritual community for as long as I have, you realize that you'd never get anywhere, that you're constantly trying to get somewhere that you're never going to get. And if you get to where you think you're going, you're going to keep trying to get somewhere else. That is the opposite of evolution. Because you're literally in the illusion that you're going somewhere when all you're doing is trying to pull yourself off of a seesaw because you don't want to experience this. And so you're just trying to move yourself off of a seesaw that you're never going to be able to get off of, because it's the planetary experience. And the more you can just allow yourself and drop yourself into the seesaw, drop yourself into polarity, drop yourself into pain, drop yourself into anger, drop yourself into frustration, drop yourself into anxiety, drop yourself into lack, drop yourself into depression, drop yourself into insecurity, drop yourself into unworthiness. I don't know, name some other things. Drop yourself into joy, drop yourself into peace, drop yourself into calm, drop yourself into whatever is happening here in every moment, and that is your highest aligned state. That is the evolutionary process. That is moving into 5D. That is ascension, because you are no longer fighting what is. You're no longer trying to get somewhere while you are simultaneously shifting out of polarity. The way you shift out of polarity is by being in polarity. The way you shift out of pain is by being in pain. The way you shift out of anxiety is by being in the anxiousness. The way you shift out of depression is by being in the depression. The way you shift out of love is by being in love. The way you shift out of peace is by being in peace. Everything is in constant movement. Nothing stays except for our natural state of being, which is ease, calm, and peace. Love. That's natural. That's always there no matter what, as our natural state of flow. So underneath everything that we're constantly experiencing in the seesaw, there is this natural state of being that the soul knows is omnipresent, which is ease, calm, peace, love. It's just is. It's always available. It's always there. But we go through this seesaw up and down all over the place all day long, because we're in polarity and we're in a polarized planet, this shifting frequency. And so this polarization is going to be felt more and more and more. You're going to see the polarization, right? Um, it's going to become more present. I encourage you. What is one thing in your life that you do not believe should be here? Go ahead and put it on the chat. What's one thing in your life that should not be here, that you shouldn't be feeling or thinking or doing or having? Put it in there. Speak it out. Share it with us. Lack, insomnia, intense body pain, anger, extra weight, broken right arm, alone, marijuana, homeless, autoimmune disease, illness, insecurity, pain, self-sabotage, struggling, judgment, debt. Okay, gaslighting, being gaslit, anxious, fear. Okay, so as people are putting all of these, I've been sick too many times. Okay, so everybody's sharing something that should not be there. Okay, so we can stop now, unless you want to just keep doing it because it feels good to just get it out. So here's the piece around these things: anxiety, not feeling aligned, nervousness, jealousy, self-blaming. These are all things that are here. They're on your seesaw. Okay? And there's a judgment around the experience of anxiety or lack or whatever it is, because it doesn't feel good. At the end of the day, it doesn't feel good. Okay? I guarantee you, whatever it is that you listed here, you've been battling with for a long time. There's the voice that says, you're bad, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't feel this, you shouldn't think this. Why is this here again? Why am I going through this? There's something wrong with me. I need to be fixed. I need to be right. It's probably been around for a while, or some component of it. And here is the next lesson or practice for you. Kind of sharing part of what I'm going to be doing in our Evolve course, but so be it. Here's the next piece for you. What happens? Okay. What happens when and write this down somewhere. Write down what it is, because the more that we can actually speak to it, and not speak to it from a victim mentality, but speak to it just from the soul. You're seeing this right now through the lens of your soul, you. So you write this down: anxiety, lack, autoimmune disease, whatever it is. Okay. And now I want you to recognize that you live on a planet that is polarized. So if it's not this, it could be something else. If it's not an autoimmune disease, maybe it's going to be lack in 6 months, or maybe it's going to be depression in a year. Maybe it's going to be anxiety. And what's happening right now on this planet with this seesaw and with this beautiful courage for you to just write down one thing that is not allowed to be here is that the deeper freaking practice for you right now is what happens when you start to allow this to be here. When you look at it and you wrap your arms around it and you say, "You get to be here." Can you do that? Can you look at it through the eyes of your soul? What does it feel like? And is there resistance to doing that because you don't like it and you don't want it to be here? That's okay. You can have those emotions and you can still embrace what's here. Because the more we resist what is here in this polarized world, because everybody's up here and I need to get up here and I need to be better and I need to be healthy and I need to be happy and I shouldn't have anxiety and everybody else looks like they're having a great life and my life sucks. That polarization is going to be here. And the way you break free is that you courageously, like the badass that you are, embrace what you're in. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. And 90% of us, this is almost impossible to do, but I am going to like just cheerlead you on to try to practice this. What happens, whatever you wrote down on the piece of paper or right here, what happens when you simply start to use the lens of your soul looking at it and you embrace it? You allow it to be here. You literally say to it, you get to be here. And listen to what pops up. It can't, if I do that, it's going to stay. My friend, it's already staying. You think that in resisting it or fighting against it or trying to fix it, it's going to go away because things in the past that you've fixed or tried to change have gone away. That's the illusion. The illusion on this planet with polarity is that if I fix what I don't like, it will go away and I'll be here, except you're on a seesaw. So something else is going to come in. That's the polarity on the planet. Oh, I don't like this. So let me fix this so that I can stay up here. Then something else comes in that is this polarity. You have to eventually allow for everything to just be, and then you no longer are fighting against what is through the illusion that you're in control and you'll get rid of it. And then you move into the flow state, life starts to open up. This doesn't mean that you don't make choices. Okay. So if you're depressed, right, you have tools to help yourself. If you're anxious, you have tools. If you have an autoimmune disease, you have tools. If you are homeless, you start to have tools to help you through it. If you are, I don't know, oh, I don't know what else came up, unworthiness, there are tools to sort of help you move through it, right? We have tools to walk ourselves through what we're experiencing. But that is very, very different. So there's a choice in how we respond to the unworthiness. There's a choice to how we respond to anxiety. There's a choice to how we respond to homelessness. So we're constantly choosing how to respond or be in the polarity. But that is very different from the knee-jerk reaction of this shouldn't be here. That's like saying, I shouldn't be thirsty. Your body's naturally gonna wanna drink. Like, whatever is here is here. How could it possibly not supposed to be here if it's here? You get to have opinions about it, but the soul understands from a much higher perspective, and by the way, your soul, that if it's here, it's here. And if it's here, it's teaching me how to allow it to be here first without all of the personal judgment and illusion that I put on it as if it's me. and still allowing myself to have all the human experience around it. And you're still going to take action to try to change your life, right? You still take action. But this polarization that is going to increase in order for us to understand and recognize and see what we're in over and over and over again. So then you start thinking about, what is one thing that you're experiencing in your life that you enjoy? Put one thing down on the in the chat, one thing that's in your life that you enjoy, that you love, that it feels good in your life, right? One thing that you're proud of, one thing that's happening in your life right now that makes you happy. Put it down. Write it on a piece of paper, write it in the chat box. Okay, your dog, you, your family, painting angels, music, your marriage, my new friends, my relationship with my son that's healing, nature, soul expansion. I'm stronger. I have my own home, my family, singing. Okay, so all of these things are part of polarity as well. My animals, my cat, dancing, connection, the sun. These are also polarity. You understand? My son, my family, nature, singing. The opposite of singing is not singing. The opposite of feeling grateful for family is not having family. Now, the difference between these two experiences is how it feels in the body, but it it's still here. So here's all these positive, beautiful things, right, that you're experiencing. And for whatever reason, because it feels good, we don't argue these things. We have a great family. We have cats. We sing. We don't argue and say, this shouldn't be here. I want to change this. I want to fix this. How long is this going to stay? We don't do that because it feels good, because it's in a vibrational state that feels good. But it's still here, just like this stuff is still here. And it gets to be here just like the other stuff gets to be here. So, can you start to hold the stuff you don't like from the same lens as what you're holding with the stuff that you do like? Because if you can do that, the things that you don't like will start to neutralize, and then you won't give a shit. I'm telling you, the moment you stop playing in that polarization, meaning this you give energy to trying to get rid of what you don't like, the moment that you start to just, this is here, what else? I swear to you, you will find a peace, a calm, and an ease like you've never felt before. It's not easy, but I promise you. I mean, to me, this is the greatest key to our evolution right now. And it's, for some reason, not a very popular thought. And it goes in one ear out the other because people are so programmed to get that relief of transformation, to get that relief of change, to get that relief of healing. They want this heaviness to go away. They want someone to come in and take the heaviness away. But what happens when that heaviness is taken away and a new heaviness comes in? No, Lori, there's going to be a moment where we're not going to have to get rid of any heaviness anymore. Not until you realize that you're not in charge and you don't have to get rid of any heaviness. You realize that the human collective, the evolution in human consciousness, is that we stop trying to get rid of anything. Until we start doing that, we are slowly, like molasses, moving through the evolution, which is great because it's a natural process. But it can be sped up so much quicker, faster, if we stop trying to get rid of anything. Because in not trying to get rid of anything, but simply seeing it, observing it, allowing it, experiencing it, feeling it, and then just choosing how you're going to respond to it, it dissolves. And it starts to neutralize with what is. And now all of a sudden, you're standing in an entire an entire quantum field where everything is allowed to be, and you're no longer fighting or resisting against everything. And now you are in constant change. That's the highest evolutionary state that you can ever be in. That is the highest state that you can be in, is when you are allowing for everything to just be. That's when change happens. And that is when you are metamorphosizing at your highest rate or highest uh, speed. And it's counterintuitive to what most of us are taught. We are taught to fix. We are taught to get somewhere, to reach plateau. When all this is gone, I will be dot dot dot. If I could just heal this dot dot dot. If I could just understand why this trauma is here dot dot dot. If I could just, no longer feel this, then I'll be dot dot dot. And then something else comes. I mean, I don't have to tell you. How long have you been in the journey of healing? How long have you been in the journey of spiritual awakening and if you're brand new, please do this from the get-go and you will be way ahead of us that have been doing this for a long time. If you're brand new to awakening, you're trying to figure it all out, navigate it, and you're wondering why you're feeling so much and why you can't control anything and why nothing makes sense anymore and why you're more confused than you ever have and why nobody resonates with you any longer. Let that just be okay. Let it all just be what it is, and you will skyrocket through this evolution. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try to get rid of anything, and I promise you it will it will get rid of itself when it's gone, and then something else will arise, and then you'll learn how to let that be, and then something else will arise, and you'll learn how to let that be, and it's simply just your response to it. So, any questions? Any questions about this right here, the seesaw? I really honestly believe where we are right now as a human collective in this one finite moment of evolution that may last a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. I want you to imagine that the intensity of polarization is increasing. And so as an ET, an alien, a different species looking down at the human collective, it's like, "Oh shit, they're gonna lose their shit. They're really gonna believe all this. Oh, they're really gonna try to get out of this. Oh my god, they're really gonna wanna heal even more. They're gonna wanna fix even more. Oh god, they're gonna believe the illusion even more," because the intensity of polarization is increasing. Right? Um, and so these aliens from above or God or soul source or whatever, these angels, whatever it is, right? Spirits are looking down and crossing their fingers like, please don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Please. The more intense it becomes, the more you need to realize that you're none of it. Stop playing in the old programs that are convincing you that you got to fix and change and heal and none of this is allowed to be here and you got to get rid of this in order to be this. It's all the polarity. It's all of it. So I'm struggling with deep regret. I try to be with it, but I have such strong resistance to it. They both come in at the same time. Let it both be there, truth seer. So resistance to regret. So here's regret. Let's say regret's here and the allowing of the regret, right? So it's okay. So the regret and that what happened is okay. They both get to be here. It's a polarization. You're going to feel both. Now what? Right? So regret arises. Regret is experience. Regret is you looking back at the past, and you're going to start experiencing not having regret. It's okay. Regret gets to be here, and that's it. It's that simple. You're just becoming more and more aware of the regret experience, of feeling the regret. And the more that you're aware of the fact that you're feeling regret, like, okay, big deal. Okay, what else? You have regret? Uh-huh. See, we place such a significance on I have regret. and I got to fix the regret. And what do I do with the regret? I shouldn't be feeling the regret. What you have regret. What else is going on? No, you don't understand. It's so difficult. It's so painful. It's so heavy. Yeah, I get it. Regret. I get it. It's intense. But there is an opposite to that, which is allowing what happened in the past to be okay. You can't change it, right? You don't have to hold that, but it's on the opposite end of that seesaw. So regret is regret. Now, what else is happening? What else are you experiencing, truth seer? What else are you feeling throughout your day? What else is going on? What else? What else is arising right now? You understand that's what we do. We put such an intensification on what we're experiencing that isn't okay. What's wrong with regret? Why is regret bad? Because it doesn't feel good. Because we're taught we shouldn't have regret. We're taught maybe in different communities that regret means that you're in the past. You shouldn't be in the past. Anything that's arising right now, including regret, is what's in the now moment. I'm continuing to change my environment while I'm using old numbing techniques. However, I feel the pain of being in the middle. How do I make the big jump? There's no jump, Ariana. Um, Other than recognizing that you're continuing to change your environment in order to get out of what you're in, and you're using numbing techniques, which bravo, we all do that. Especially now, we use numbing techniques. What a beautiful awareness, first of all, that you have, that you use numbing techniques and that you're constantly trying to change your environment because you don't want to be in the seesaw. Bravo. I don't want to be in the seesaw, but guess what? I'm in the seesaw. So are you. I don't like that I use numbing techniques, but I do. I use numbing techniques just like everyone else because it's intense. The seesaw is intense. So for you, Ariana, it would be the more and more awareness and compassion for changing the environment because you don't like to be in the seesaw. The seesaw for you is extremely intense. And can the intensity So this is the practice for you, my friend, is can the intensity of what you're experiencing throughout your day, which is why you're changing your environments, it's why the increasing of the numbing techniques are happening. Because the intensity of the seesaw, the feeling states, and the awareness of the feeling states is at such a heightened state that it's too much. So recognize that, be aware of that, because that's not going anywhere. There's no amount of environment changing and there's no amount of numbing that's going to stop the intensification of the seesaw that we're in. So we have to learn how to allow the seesaw. So perhaps for you, what are some ways that you can go through this right now where you are holding yourself more, having more compassion for yourself? Are there things you can say to yourself that will just tell you that you're okay? Are there ways in which you can show yourself that you're okay? Like um, maybe giving yourself an hour where you do nothing and you just get to be with you out in nature, or you give yourself a massage, or you watch that Netflix series, but you watch it not because you're numbing out, but because you're giving yourself that gift. Maybe you let yourself sleep in for an extra hour and you don't actually beat yourself up over it. You allow it to be okay, right? What are these little ways that you can start to pat yourself on the back for the fact that it's so intense on your seesaw that you're constantly changing environments? Okay, most people that were in your shoes would do the same thing. And the intensification of the numbing techniques, okay, you're on a seesaw, it's intense. You see, what we do is we make what we're in so wrong and so bad. Regret is so bad, we shouldn't be feeling it, that it intensifies it. It intensifies the actual natural polarity. And then all we're doing is focusing on how this shouldn't be here. And we've got to fix it and get out of it. But if we simply just look at it and see it as this human experience that we're in, and then we slowly take little steps to be able to walk ourselves through it like a grandmother, or like a big soul, a big angel would say, hey, I'm going to help you through this polarity that you're in. I'm not going to get you out of the polarity. I'm going to help walk you through it. And I'm going to show you that the more that you can see and experience the polarity through the eyes of compassion and awareness, the faster you'll be able to move through it. Let's see, any other questions? I'm supposed to be a singer. I'm wasting my gift and I guilt myself and feel lost. So you're saying let it all be, but with self-compassion. Yeah. I'm supposed to be a singer. Okay. I'm supposed to be a singer. I'm not a singer. I'm supposed to be a singer. I'm not a singer. I'm supposed to be a singer. I'm not a singer. I'm supposed to be a singer. Drop it. Let go. Literally. Like let go means I'm supposed to be a singer. I'm not a singer. They both get to be here. What happens when they're both just allowed to be there and you open up to something else that's here that you can't control? That's very difficult. But what if there is a bigger part of you called soul or God or whatever that's trying to work through you? And the Ariana that's trying to control everything feels that resistance, that polarity. And this is a lot of you, right? I'm supposed to be here, but I'm here. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm doing this. Or I want to be doing this, but I'm doing this. And that's the resistance, it's the really uncomfortable experience of not wanting to be in this. I'm supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to be doing something different, or I know I'm whatever that is. The greatest gift that that polarity is offering you is to allow for both of them to be there and to open up to the soul that is trying to guide you. And it's an energetic opening. That's the only way I can describe it. There isn't it's you have to energetically feel as if you are opening to something bigger, Ariana. Imagine like the door is opening for the first time, a window is opening for the first time. Air is coming into your room, light is coming into your room. There's an opening. You're relaxing for a moment. I don't have to fight against this. No, you don't. I don't have to effort for this. No. I don't have to push. No. You have to stay in action, which means that you're taking steps to figure things out, but you're energetically staying open to what's going to arise. And the only way that you can stay open to what's going to arise is that you stop fighting against what's here. You stop fighting against these two polarities. I'm supposed to be a singer. I'm not a singer. Both are true. And neither one of them is taking the center stage right now, meaning they're both trying to play out. So as soon as we relax into both of these energies being here, and they're all just thought anyways, it's all just thought. But when you don't give thought the power, you just let the thoughts be here, you let the experiences be here, you let the feeling states be here, then you start to step into soul expansion. You start to step into the quantum field. You start to step into what is actually here beyond the polarization. That's where you start to see the that's where you realize magic is kind of unraveling you or taking you. Something bigger than you is taking you. And That's why the lion to me is such a powerful, significant, symbol for this time on the planet is because the lion lives in polarity, right? Danger and safety, power and vulnerability. Um, but the lion knows that it's the lion, meaning the soul knows its soul, and the soul knows that it's standing in polarity. So the soul honors polarity. The soul is humble to polarity. The lion is humble to the land that it's on, but it's powerful in what it knows it can do and who it is, right? And that's what you want to focus on is who you actually are, which is soul embodied in polarity through a physical form. How do I stop comparing myself to others? The more that you can become aware, Emily, of the comparing yourself to others, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but the more that you can start to become aware that Emily is comparing herself to others, Emily is comparing herself to others, Emily is comparing herself to others, even saying, I'm comparing myself to others, I'm constantly comparing myself to others, and you feel into what it feels like, and if in those moments, if you can honor or at least have compassion. What happens, Emily, when you start to have compassion for yourself as you're comparing yourself? Just practice that. Compassion is this feeling of it's okay. It's okay that you're comparing yourself to others. That's compassion. It's okay. Soul would always say, it's okay. It's not who you are. And the human part of us is going to say, I don't want to be comparing myself to others. Listen, I get it. I don't either. It sucks. It's a horrible feeling. It's awful, but it's here. And the last thing I ever wanna do is resist what is. And I know that resistance is the natural knee-jerk reaction to anything that doesn't feel comfortable. And so, Emily, for you, I would simply just start practicing instead of trying to get out of it or heal yourself or fix that, right? You should do this or you should just compassion is the most beautiful medicine we can give ourselves. It's okay, Emily, that you are comparing yourself. And feel how uncomfortable that may be, because there's a belief that if you do that, then it's gonna stay around. Watch what happens. This is how programmed we are. If I say it's okay, if I allow myself permission to feel it, if I let it be okay, if I give myself compassion, if I tell myself it's okay, that means it's gonna stay around. I have to resist it in order for it to leave. I have to fight against it. I have to make it wrong in order for it to go away. How has that worked in your life? You're always doing. So you don't see the allowing thing is really tricky with for the human mind to understand because people think that when you allow that you're just sitting back doing nothing. Allowing is just simply honoring what is. And from that state of honoring what is, then you just choose what's next or how you're going to respond to it. Typically, what I do is that I just allow it to be there. And I swear to you, something else arises. And then my mind is on something else. And that thing which I didn't want to be there goes away until it arises again. And I'm just aware of how I am responding to it. So the response, Haruka, would be, am I angry with what's arising? Meaning, am I am I judging it as if it shouldn't be here? I don't anymore. It's just like, "Oh, this is what's here now." And I get curious, and then what else is going to arise? And let's say you are in a job you don't like. Okay. This is a big one for a lot of people, right? That you're in a job that you don't like. Allowing doesn't mean that you just hang out in the job. It's like, well, it's here, so I should just allow it. No, if you don't like what you're in, you take action. That's what's so great about this human experience is that you get to change the environment you're in if you want. You don't like the job? Go get another job. You don't like the relationship you're in? Go get a different relationship. You don't like where you're living? Go get a new place to live. But that has nothing to do with the energy of allowing what is. You don't like your job. That is what it is. That gets to be here. You're not making it wrong. You're not resisting against it. You're not like, why am I in this again? This shouldn't be here. There's something wrong with me. I don't believe that all these things are going to pop in. I don't believe I'm worthy enough. So then they all just get to be there. Oh, what else is here? Oh, what else is here? Oh, and then there's this bigger, more expanded, kind of mature part of you, which is called soul, that says, huh, you live in a very creative world. What would it be like if you opened up to maybe finding a different job? Well, I can't do that because of dot, dot, dot. Huh, look at those thoughts that are arising. That's interesting. I have massive resistance to getting another job. Okay, I'm going to stay in the job I hate and be miserable and bitch and moan and complain. That's interesting. You understand it's all just what is. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just what's here. And you're just constantly being aware of what's here. And you get to change all of it, but you're not changing it from this shouldn't be here. It's like, this is what's here. Now, what am I going to do? I'm homeless. That sucks. Really don't like it. There's fear. There is worry. There's anxiousness. Okay, it's all right here. You are much more empowered. Much more empowered. I got to get going. You're much more empowered when you start to allow what is, and then you make changes. You choose from that state of everything gets to be here because it's here. All right. Okay. That's it. Challenging uh, lesson or practice. I should say practice. But anyway, if you guys liked this video, click the thumbs up button, pass it along to somebody that may need to hear it. Send this to somebody that you know would benefit from hearing it. Get this message out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. Um, and you don't need to work on any of it. You just be aware of it. The awareness is what shifts it. Turn the light on. Guess what? It starts to be part of the room, you know? All right, you guys. I love you so much. If you want to dive deeper into these tools and ways of being, join Evolve, our 6-week live course that starts Thursday, June 27th. And I will see you next Tuesday for Untangled episode 93. And what else? If you're in our Patreon, I'll see you this Thursday at 8 a.m. California time for our energy update. Lots of love to you. Thank you guys for being here. More compassion for you and for the rest of humanity. And the polarization and the seesaw it's intensifying only for us to remember how to be in all of this. I love you guys. Mwah.